Yes guys, Jess here, back with another video. You read the title. This is the last chance, in my opinion, before we get a massive bounce. You can see the short-term liquidity to the downside has been grabbed, and the majority actually resides above us in and around the 99k mark. We have a massive jam-packed week ahead. You have President Trump actually talking very soon. You have comments from Jerome Powell actually potentially coming in that may move the market, and you also have CPI tomorrow with more comments from Powell, which is absolutely essential for us to be looking at the levels. So with that being said, I've actually got a lot of charts actually prepared for you guys. So make sure to be watching to the end. And yeah, before we get into the analysis, make sure to smash up that like button. Let's try and get above 30 likes this video. That'd be absolutely insane, guys. And yeah, let's get straight away into this banger. Bow. So you can see here, guys, that we've actually started to actually put in a bounce. We had a bullish divergence over here, and we had a short-term bounce in the market. However, this next candle on the 12-hourly time frame started to print red. I do think that this is a massive trap. If you actually look closely, you can see that we're forming a massive reversal pattern. So you can see it's sort of a bullish channel, or if you take it from this high over here and you slightly slant it, you can actually call it a massive bull flag. So this is looking good. You can see we had a previous move to the upside, and you're actually forming lower lows and lower highs here. However, it's looking like a consolidation, as you had in a rounded bottom, and your previous week's low hasn't actually been broken over here. So we have to have a look at our range levels as the broader picture. We are actually just bouncing off support and actually rejecting off of resistance. So we need to be looking at the relevant levels, but you can see that in the short term, it actually looks like we're gearing up to actually start to break this resistance and then around the 100k region. And if we can break that resistance, that might be enough to actually send us to new all-time highs. Yes, this can be the last chance before you actually get massive squeeze to the upside. And yeah, this is not a clickbait title. This is genuinely my thoughts. So you can see we have the bullish divergence, and you can see from the last video, we actually talked about this Fibonacci golden pocket. So the 0.618 and the 0.65 Fibonacci, and you can see we had a sizable bounce from that level. So of course, this has actually been playing out. We actually hit our range quarter that we were talking about in the larger picture. You can see that every time we hit this level, we tend to get bounces and key reactions. So of course, this is something that I was looking at in the previous video, and we've exactly got that bounce. So of course, now I do think that us coming in towards this level is just decreasing the more time we actually spend above this 95-300. So of course, I'm still remaining bullish, and I do think that we can go higher. And of course, in my previous video, I did mention that we may come in towards this 95 golden pocket too, and we had that bounce. So of course, this has exactly been playing out. You guys have been informed with the relevant levels, and it looks like we have resistance in and around the 99.3. So that's the next level to be watching, as there's a lot of liquidity actually piling up to the top side. So if we spike in towards 99,300 and we start to get a rejection, make sure to not panic. It is definitely a liquidity pool where you will see volatility actually pick up. And I do think that we can maybe come down and form another higher low for actually reversing the trend to the upside. We can just consolidate, so we may just spike into this level, slam back down and consolidate for CPI before we actually pick a direction to the upside or to the downside. So this is something to be watching. But again, you know, the short-term trend is down, so you have to be open to us returning all the way to the range lows and possibly lower before we actually start the move to the upside, if we can't maintain, you know, bullish price action. But I do think that this is the last region before we actually start to go parabolic. I do think that us coming down is a lower probability, but of course, I'm not saying it's impossible. I am saying if it comes down here, again, it's a great buying opportunity. That's great. But of course, it's about time that the bulls start to fight back. And of course, I have all the levels marked out here, so you can see that we're actually on massive support, and we're starting to bounce into this level of resistance. So of course, previously we had a lot of rejections here, and this is the high volume area. So of course, we're starting to reject, and you can see this bearish engulfing candle potentially being confirmed on the 8-hour. But again, there is still about 1 hour left before this candle closes, and we're starting to form a wick. So of course, I don't think it's anything to be worrying about. You can see we're printing in higher lows here on the short term, so it's likely that we can actually start to see a reversal, and then we can start to confirm this as support before actually reversing to the upside. So of course, there's nothing too much to be worrying about. And another reason why I'm very bullish is you can see we have the sell news from our inauguration window. So I took it from the week to January 13th in towards the inauguration day, January 20th, and I've been calling it from the start of this range. I was saying in and around this level, we're likely to rally in towards the inauguration, then we will get a pullback and we can resume the upwards price action. And you can see that's exactly playing out right now. We're getting this massive pullback in towards major levels of support, and it's likely that we can actually start to see a slow climb to the upside as soon as tomorrow. So I think that this is the last chance. This is a sell the news and manipulation, in my opinion. Of course, again, you can look at it from the angle of the psychology of markets. Typically, you have a sell the news as people think that because Trump's in office from that day, price is actually going to go parabolic, and then we actually get a sell-off, shaking off the weak hands, and of course, you have your whales buying in, and then price actually resumes the uptrend shortly. So of course, that is something we've been seeing in the market. And yeah, you can see on this chart, I've been analyzing the moon phases and our 9 and 18 exponential moving average, and of course it was angled to the downside, but I told you guys that if this starts to flatten out and we actually reclaim our mid-range at 100k, so around 99k precisely, then we are likely to actually start an uptrend. You can see that we have a convergent point from this level here, and then we actually started to form higher lows, and it looks like we have lower highs on the top side as well. So of course it is likely that we can actually get a breakout to the downside or the upside. In my opinion, I am staying bullish, and if we lose this level, I will actually be taken out of my trade. But I do think that this is a great area for you guys to be taking a trade. It's at an extremity because we're at the previous week's mid-range, so it's likely we can actually break above this level, hold the mid-range as resistance, and then your 9 and 18 exponential moving average, both on the daily time frame, as you can see over here, will actually start to flatten out and provide support. So it's likely that you can actually see price action resume to the upside. And if we actually squeeze the shorters and then come back down on towards the mid-range, then on CPI we can get a decision candle, whether it's downwards or upwards. But I think if we reclaim the mid-range, it's most likely going to be to the upside. They say the chart tells the news before the news comes out, and in my opinion, if we actually come up and hold this level, then it's very obvious where price action is likely to go. And we have the new moon phase. So this was your bear moon, this was your bull moon, this was your previous bear moon. You could clearly see a trend there, and if you backtest it on your previous range, it was very, very consistent. Every time you had a bear moon, price actually came to the downside, and every time you had a bullish moon phase, you actually went to the upside. Sometimes it was choppy, so you can see in this example, so just 2 seconds, my chart just messed up, but in this example you were very choppy, this one you were choppy, and if you go back in the range, sometimes you were very choppy in your bearish moon phases because the high time frame trend was up. So you have to use it in confluence, and you have to look at what price action is showing, and then that can be an extra reason why you maintain your bias bullish or you maintain your bias bearish. And of course, we were at range highs at the previous one, so I was telling you guys it's likely we can actually come to the downside, and that's what's happened. So if you're liking the analysis and you want to be trading for yourself, you want to take the trade before the train leaves the station, then essentially you want to be going to the first link in the description, and you can actually be trading with HyroTrader. They're a crypto platform that actually offer up to $1 million in capital once you scale your account, and an initial amount of $100,000 where you get to keep 90% of your profit. So you can actually be connecting your buyback account to HyroTrader, and you can be trading just as normal. However, you just have a lot more capital. So you can see if I scroll down here and I actually go to the options, you have a lot of accounts, different sizes available as well, and it goes up to $100,000. So that's absolutely amazing. You know, the average payout is about $4,000 from these accounts. People are getting this amazing opportunity to be making this money consistently every week. And you can see over here, I've actually taken a Bitcoin trade that I was talking about. I'm actually trading with a $50,000 account, and I've risked about 1% of this account over here. So let's see how this goes. I'm going to be showing you guys all the trades I'm taking on Bitcoin with my analysis. So if we get a bounce here, then this trade will go well. If not, we'll try along the 92k support level. But yeah, let's see how this goes, and I'll be showing you guys how HyroTrader works. But of course, I showed you guys in my previous video how to actually set up your account and actually connect the API. So watch this video if you want to be knowing how to do that. And of course, this is a great way to be avoiding liquidation etc. But of course, if you want to be staying and trading with exchanges, you can see the second link in the description is for Blofin, offering up to 100,000 US dollars in deposit bonuses. So you can see I clicked the second link down after HyroTrader, and this is taking me to the Blofin page, and you can see you got $100,000 up for grabs in terms of deposit bonuses and rewards. And of course, at the top there, you can see the date that it ends, February 17th. So that's about 6 days from now. So just under a week for you guys to be taking advantage of this massive opportunity. So make sure to be doing that if you want to be trading on an exchange. And for whatever reason, if you don't want to be using Blofin, then make sure to be checking out MEXC and KCEX over here. So that's the link after Blofin. You got these two exchanges with great deposit bonuses as well. And we're actually getting a bull moon phase actually printed tomorrow. So it's likely that we can actually get that move to the upside inevitably. So whether we come down in the short term before we actually move up, I do think that this is a low, or if we come down, then we have the 92k region where I believe that will be the low for Bitcoin. So you can see historically, every time you have your inaugurations, you get a bit of chop before you resume the uptrend. So that's very good. And the average correction is playing out. It was around 20% this cycle. And you can see we had a 16% correction so far. And of course, we have bullish demand. So of course, the pullbacks this cycle has been quite tame due to the ETF inflows. And this is on average decent sized correction. And of course, we had our fear and greed index actually moving in towards fear yesterday. So you can see that it's definitely likely that the bottom is in and we're actually moving in towards the neutral territory, and Bitcoin is not even below 90k. So that's very telling in my opinion. I do think that the weak hands are actually getting shaken out. You can see on this fractal, people were calling for a double top a lot of the time this cycle, and they had lower targets. People are calling for 74k now, and they're calling for the gaps to be filled. Of course, this is possible, but you know, the majority tends to be wrong, and this may be the case again where we actually clear the equal highs and continue higher, and then maybe next bear market we could actually discuss us filling the inefficiencies to the downside. You can see we have a nice bull flag forming right now, and you have that consolidation which historically has led to a massive push to the upside. We have this bullish megaphone pattern actually still in play. We're on support and we're likely to actually move to the upside again. And yeah, in year 3, Bitcoin always goes parabolic, and typically when Bitcoin goes parabolic this time, it's not just going to be Bitcoin moving to the upside, it's going to be your altcoins as well. So speaking about your altcoins, we've got to speak about the biggest altcoin by market cap, Ethereum. You can see it came in towards strong support and we're actually bouncing. We actually filled the wick just a little bit, and we still haven't filled it 50% on the daily time frame. So I do think that more chop is inevitable for Ethereum, but in the longer term, I do think Ethereum is seriously undervalued, guys. You can see that Bitcoin is trading a lot higher than its previous all-time highs. However, Ethereum has a massive divergence. It's really below its all-time high over here. You can see that percentage-wise that Ethereum is massively below its all-time highs. So I do think that this is a massive arbitrage opportunity. This is a massive opportunity for you guys to be front-running people that will become bullish on Ethereum once it starts trading above all-time high and pumping. Of course, we're in a downtrend, so you want to be careful if you're trading it in the short term. But I think long-term, buying it on spot and actually just, you know, averaging in here during the chop is actually a massive region where you can actually see a move to the upside. Of course, this doesn't have to be filled. There's a lot of liquidity actually waiting here and here as well. So that may be front runner. This may be the low for Ethereum. So of course, I do think that it's a massive opportunity. You can see in the longer term, we're actually holding this upward sloping trend line. So of course, there is no guarantee we actually come down to fill anything. We could just start moving up to the upside. But again, it'll be very nice if we can actually come back down and I can get more cheap Ethereum. That would be nice. But yeah, it just looks like it's very bullish. I'm not going to be fading this ascending triangle. They have a 90% hit rate in the uptrend, and we're in the uptrend on a higher time frame. So this is looking really good. And I'm not going to be fading this, because once we break above 4,000 for Ethereum, then of course I do think that we're going to be seeing massive push to the upside, as you can see by this massive fractal here. Also, if you look from a more holistic standpoint, we're actually trading within an upward sloping parallel channel. We're holding support as always. So again, this is not the time to be bearish on Ethereum, guys. Like, you have to know that in order for you to make money in this crypto market, somebody needs to buy your bags, and it needs to be people that get bullish once we start pumping. When it's dumping and no one's interested, this is the time for you guys to be, you know, getting your favorite altcoins and buying the dip, in my opinion. And you can see if that does happen, Bitcoin dominance is likely to come down, as mentioned before. And yeah, we're likely to have a massive altcoin season, as you can see over here. And if that happens, ETH will start moving to the upside, and you'll see this massive catch-up trade where Bitcoin dominance comes down, money flows out of Bitcoin, it goes in towards your altcoins, specifically Ethereum to start with, and this will provide massive strength for your altcoins and also Ethereum too. So this is the time to be buying up that dip, in my opinion. So that'll be it for me. Make sure to be following me on Twitter to be staying up with consistent updates, and I'll see you guys in the next video tomorrow. Peace, guys. See ya. Bye bye.